You know that saying you only get married once? Well, I got married twice in 2 months, and yes, it was the same guy. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Autumn. If you are new, I would love to have you hit that subscribe button so you can see more videos. Today is going to be a very special video because I'm going to be telling you guys about our wedding. My husband and I got married about a year ago. We're coming up on a year and a few more days here. So I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to share with you guys about our wedding and our story, and during the pandemic is when our wedding was, so 2020, so I thought I'd share with you guys a little about how that was. But if you'd like to hear more about our wedding and kind of our story, then keep watching. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is I was 18 when I met Joshua. So I was so young, I was just a baby, and he was 24, so I am now 22 and he is 28. I was 21 when we got married and he was 27, so just a little bit of a timeline there. But first I wanted to start telling you guys about how he proposed to me. So this is probably one of my favorite stories to share. It was so special. He did such an amazing job asking me to marry him. He was so thoughtful. He always is. He put together the whole day and thought it out, and I had no idea. So Joshua proposed to me on our 2-year anniversary. I thought we were just gonna do something special for our 2-year, but that something special was even greater than I knew, and he proposed to me. So I was very shocked. And so basically he told me he had the whole day planned, and I had no idea what we were doing. He was gonna surprise me, and I love that because I love surprises, and he knows that. So we both lived in Grand Rapids at the time, so we started out our journey that day here, and he picked me up, and I was all dressed up for a 2-year. He was dressed up nice too. We just started driving, and I didn't know where we were going, and we kept going, driving, and then I realized we were driving in the direction back towards my hometown in Battle Creek. And we ended up making a stop at the Black Rock. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of that, but it's a really nice, fancy restaurant. And it's kind of in the Kalamazoo area. It's really cool because you kind of cook your steak on this stone right in front of you that's sizzling. And I've never done anything like that, so that was really cool to experience. And then I still didn't know exactly where we were going after that, and we were still going in the direction back towards my hometown. And so we ended up going back to my hometown in Battle Creek, and we went and stopped at his grandparents' house. So at this point I was like really confused. I was like, okay, what are we doing? And so his grandparents live in a condo on the lake, so it's so beautiful and gorgeous. They live on Gogwak Lake. And so we stopped here, and it was really nice to see his grandparents. They're so nice, and I love them. And so we were just kind of talking to them and telling them it was our 2-year anniversary. Meanwhile, they knew all about it, and they were in on the engagement plan the whole time. And here I am, just clueless, talking to them. And so then Joshua told me we were going to go on a boat ride. So they have a pontoon boat. It's so cute. It was such a gorgeous day. So we started heading down to the boat, and before that, Joshua pulled out a edible arrangement out of the fridge, and he had all kinds of fruit dipped in chocolate. The true way to my heart is chocolate, so he knows that. And then we started heading down to the boat, and right away I see that he decorated the boat. He had a bunch of purple balloons tied to it, and this was so thoughtful because purple is my favorite color. And we get up to the boat, and there is this little table with a nice tablecloth, and he had a bunch of roses sitting on it. It was so romantic. And so we get on the boat and we start just going around the lake, and he's driving, and it's literally, like I said, the most gorgeous day. So just really taking in the moment. And then he stops the boat along our journey, and he hands me a special card. And in the card was, he surprised me with a hot air balloon ride, which since I was a little kid, I've always wanted to go in a hot air balloon. I always watched them growing up. The field of flight is in Battle Creek, so I would always lay out in my driveway and stare up as a kid and just hope the balloons would come over our house. And I would always chase them with my parents, and so this was a big deal. He got me a hot air balloon ride, and I literally started crying when he gave me this. It's not even the engagement, I was already bawling. And it was so special that he was making my dream come true in that way, and that was just the start of it. So then we finished our boat ride, and we were coming a little bit closer to shore, but not super close, and Josh points to the shore, and he's like, "What is that over there?" And I'm like clueless, and I'm like looking, and I just like squinting my eyes, and we're still too far away, so I'm like, "I don't know, what is that?" And so he pulls out binoculars, and I wasn't even thinking why would there be binoculars on the boat, and he just yanks these out of nowhere, and he's like, "Here, look at these, see if you can see what that is." And so I look through the binoculars. I still didn't see it right away. I'm sure this was making him so nervous. The waves were a little rocky that day, and so finally, as I'm looking through these binoculars, it comes into focus, clear, and I see my parents and his parents holding this really big banner, and it says, "Autumn, will you marry me?" And in that moment, my heart just sank in a good way, and I'm getting like emotional. Oh my goodness, I'm getting emotional talking about it. I didn't think this was gonna happen, but it just hit me all in that moment, and our whole lives just flashed before my eyes, and I felt like I was the luckiest person in the world to be with my best friend, and that he was asking me in that moment. And I turned around to him, and he was on one knee already behind me, and I can't describe to you the feeling. Like, I was just shaking, overwhelmed with excitement and love and just everything in that moment. He's down on one knee, and of course I say yes, and he gives me a speech and talking about how much he loves me and how he wants to spend the rest of his life with me, and he can't see being with anybody else. And it was just so special. He just gave a little speech. It was just me and him on the boat, and so romantic. And of course I said yes, and then we got up, hugged him and everything. My parents and his parents are cheering on shore over there. And I'm like shaking in the moment. And he's trying to put the ring on my finger, and I just remember my hand like shaking and everything. And first of all, it was the most gorgeous ring. He did such a good job picking it out. I have always wanted a halo ring. If you don't know what a halo ring is, it's where it has like a circle, and then it has kind of like a angel halo around it with smaller diamonds, and it is so gorgeous, and he knew exactly the type of ring that I wanted, so he picked out that. It was super special. And also, the other really cool and special part about my ring is that it has a crown underneath it, and most people don't know this. It has a crown that's underneath it, and in the center of the ring is a sapphire, so I absolutely love my ring. And so anyways, we get back to shore, our parents are cheering. It was just the best feeling in the world. I can't even tell you, like, the best feeling. And so we get back, we celebrate, everybody's cheering, and we go inside, and I'm pretty sure we had pizza, if I'm remembering that right. We just had some pizza, some champagne to celebrate, and I will never forget that day. Joshua, I love you. You made it literally the most perfect day it could be. Then the next thing I want to talk about is moving on to our wedding. So originally Joshua and I were going to get married on, I believe it was July 18th. See, I can't even remember the real date anymore because it changed so much, but I believe it was July 18th. And this is when the pandemic was going on, and there was so much happening and so much unknown, and I remember starting to get really nervous watching the TV every single day of what Governor Whitmer was going to say, and I just remember her putting restrictions on gatherings and how many people could be in a space at one time. And so it was getting closer and closer to our wedding. We were literally just hoping and praying that everything was going to be okay and that that date was going to work out. Of course, everything didn't end up working for that date because more restrictions were put on because of COVID, and you were only allowed to, I believe at that time, have 10 people in one space together, maybe even less. So I just remember it being very stressful as a bride trying to plan the wedding and everything. And I remember one day in the summer when it was getting closer to the wedding, Joshua and I were on the beach, and I was just telling him how scared I was and not knowing when our wedding was going to be or what it was going to be, because we knew it was going to be different and not how we planned, or even if it was going to happen. I remember at one point just wondering, is this even going to happen? And you start to lose hope and everything. And I hate to say that, but it was so real during the pandemic and everything. Then we had to shift our plans, and as it got closer, like I said, there was only allowed like 10 people in one gathering when it was July and everything. And so we had to make a decision fast to change our wedding date. There was an opening for August 22nd, and so we decided, you know what, we're going to take it. We're going to hope that the restrictions get lifted by this point. And thankfully they were. And we were able to have 150 people actually at our wedding, which is really crazy for the time. We were originally going to have around 200 people, so we had to cut down our guest list a little bit. But anyways, I am so thankful that we were even able to have that many people. So during this time, that before we even knew if we were going to be able to have a wedding or if it was going to work out, Joshua and I were just feeling so ready to get married. We didn't feel like there was a point to waiting. We just loved each other so much, and we knew it felt so right. So during all the unknown, during the pandemic, Joshua and I actually decided to have a small wedding, intimate wedding with just our family members. So this was our first wedding during COVID. And so this was a lot of last minute planning and just kind of putting things together, and it was a lot of trust. I had to put a lot of trust in God to have this work out and to not let myself get down during such a hard time and everything, and to try to stay joyful. We put together the first wedding and we found a date, and the date was June 19th. So this will forever be what we consider our wedding date, because that's when we officially signed the documents and got married. So I have always wanted to get married on the lake, and so has Josh. So we thought it would be a really good idea to have the wedding, the small wedding, at his grandparents' condo. And they approved it, so we were able to have it right on the lake out at the condo there. And so we just had our immediate family, so my parents, my brother and his parents, his brother, and my grandma and his grandparents, and there was about 10 people there. And I kid you not, it ended up being the most special thing, the most special moment. It was gorgeous, right on the lake, like I said. I am so thankful because his family and my family decorated it all out. We had an arch, we did white tooling, we did lavender flowers and some eucalyptus draped over the arch there. And then my mom actually got some lighthouses that she borrowed from her work, and we kind of made like a pathway, and it was lighthouses, and then we did a aisle runner. So it ended up being so beautiful, so gorgeous, and such a perfect day. So I got ready right at his grandparents' house, and my friend Hannah did my hair, she curled it. And so my dress for this wedding, I did not want to do my original one that I picked out, my gown, the real dress that I picked for my wedding, because I wanted to save that when everybody was there for the big wedding. It's actually the dress that I have on right now. This is the dress that I wore for this video, and I will forever keep this dress. This is my first wedding dress, and so it's really pretty. If you can see, it has lace, and it actually has lace around the back, and I will insert some pictures so you can see that. And it's short, it's cute, it worked out, it was so perfect for the setting. I remember picking out a song that I wanted to walk down the aisle to, and it was Marry Me by Train, and it's such a beautiful song. Listen to it if you haven't. But anyways, it ended up being such an intimate, personal ceremony to just have my family members there. And of course, my dad walked me down the aisle. We both prayed before the ceremony, and of course, he was bawling and I was bawling. It was just such an amazing day. It will forever be our wedding date and everything. So I will insert some pictures so you can see what it was like and the ceremony here. And then after the wedding, we just went to Joshua's parents' house, and his parents put together such a nice dinner. They went all out and made dinner for us and my family as well. We all sat around the table. It was all decorated. And then they also had a cake for us, and that was special. So that was our first wedding. It was so different than I ever imagined and that I ever expected, but it was so perfect in every way, and I do not regret it whatsoever. So then, flash forward, we were planning our second wedding, and this is the big one with family members. So I just wanted to share a little bit about how COVID has affected our plans and everything that we had to do to adjust. And so the biggest thing that was hard was we had to make sure that all the vendors, all the catering, the flowers, the DJ, the music, that they could all be okay to do our wedding for our new date instead. So that was like the hardest thing, making sure that everything worked out. And I'm telling you, God was seriously by my side because everything worked out. It worked out for every single person, and we were able to go forward with the August 22nd. We sent out our invitations. My mom and Josh's mom threw me a bridal shower, and we were able to have that at my house. And so we did all that type of stuff. And for the bachelorette party, my friends and I just stayed at an Airbnb in Grand Rapids. We actually went to Grand Haven and spent the day on the beach, came back, played all kinds of games, and it was such a good time, and we were still able to do that. So then, planning the wedding, moving forward, August 22nd, I just remember feeling so ready for this day because we had thought about it and planned it for so long. I picked out my wedding dress, fun fact, the real wedding dress, a week after I got engaged, because I was literally so freaking excited that he asked me and proposed to me. I had been dreaming of going wedding dress shopping for just my life, and so literally a week after Josh proposed, I went wedding dress shopping and found the one. I found my wedding dress, so I will show you guys me picking out that, and I will show you some pictures. But pretty much I knew exactly the wedding dress that I wanted, but I didn't want it like a Cinderella dress. I wanted something that was very lacy, because like this one too is lace, because I love lace, and I didn't want something strapless. I wanted some little straps at the top, and I wanted kind of like the V cut all the way down. I remember looking at pictures. I really liked that cut. And then kind of simple white, pure white at the bottom, and again just lacy and jewelry. I've always wanted like a belt, and so I actually got a belt and attached that around my wedding dress, and it just jazzed it up and made it look so pretty. And I went wedding dress shopping with my mom, Josh's mom, and my friend Taryn, and we went to Becker's Bridal. It was the first place we stopped. And so I tried on a few dresses, and there was a few contenders, and we were just about to leave the wedding shop, and there was one on the going back rack that I did a double take. I was like, that, and I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, how have I not seen that? That is just like the pictures I looked at. So I went back, I had to try it on. Sure enough, it was the one. I tried it on and I was like, oh my gosh, I felt like princess in it. I knew it was the one. It was so perfect. And so I picked it out, and literally I thought it was gonna take me forever to pick out a wedding dress because I'm so indecisive, but I got one at the first place that I went to. And fun fact, Becker's Bridal is actually where my mom got her wedding dress. That's why we originally went there. And then for the wedding, I borrowed my mom's necklace, and so I wore her necklace and earrings that she wore in her wedding, and I wore that, so that was really special too. So the hard part about the wedding is that we could not decorate the day before the wedding, so this was a little stressful because there was a wedding the night before. So I was like, whoo, pull this together. I asked my friends, thankfully they were able to help. Oh my gosh, it was so stressful. I had to get there in the morning and we had to literally decorate the entire reception hall, all the chairs, the centerpieces, the gift table, the entrance table. We hung up lanterns, and again, our colors were lavender, white, and then we also did some silver too. And the groomsmen, they all wore these gray suits, and or is it tuxedos? I can't remember the correct term. My bridesmaids wore these gorgeous lavender dresses. Oh my gosh, I was obsessed with the color of them and the sleeves with the lace, and we just had so much fun taking pictures together. And for our centerpieces, I had looked at Pinterest for so long leading up to the wedding. I picked out something really simple and elegant, and my husband and I really like greenery. So in the centerpiece, we did 3 vases, and they were like the circle vases. We had a tall one, a medium one, and a short one, and I loved the look of floating candles. I saw this on Pinterest, and so I cut these strands and I did a circle around the centerpiece. So that was the centerpieces. My friends helped hang up a photo booth and we did decorations for that. And then we also we had these, I don't even know how to describe it. Oh, these shelves. We had big shelves and everything that we borrowed from a friend. And in those we put pictures of Josh and I, and then we hung lights behind them. And then we just hung lights in front of the big wedding party table. And my biggest thing going into the wedding is I wanted a huge dance floor, and so did my husband, because we love to dance. So that is why we picked the Fountains Banquet Center for our ceremony. And they have the biggest dance floor in Kalamazoo, and it's gorgeous. There's disco ball and there's white tooling around the top of the ceiling, and it was the perfect venue. So, and then we got married right next to where our reception place was at Kindleberger Park, and this is a gorgeous place again in the Kalamazoo area, and I wanted to get married in a garden. I always wanted to get married outside, and this is both of those. And it was a garden area. It was created just for wedding ceremonies, so it had flowers all around the outside of it, and then leading up to it was a gazebo. And I will show you guys some videos of this, but I love gazebos. I kind of always wanted to get married under an arch or a gazebo. It has this gorgeous gazebo. We hung flowers and did tooling and all that, and then we had our white chairs sitting out, and it was just gorgeous. Everything that I ever imagined. It was beautiful. And then we had, of course, a wedding sign leading into it. And so after we set up that in the morning, we went over and got ready at a hotel, and all my friends and I got ready. And for the wedding, I wanted my hair super long, and since I was a little girl, I always wanted long blonde hair for my wedding, so I had some extensions put in, and Brie Callis did my hair. Shout out to her. amazing. If you need someone to do your wedding hair, seriously, she made my wedding hair dreams come true. I had a picture of what I wanted. She created something just like that, even better. So I had my hair down and curled, and then in the back, I had it kind of like braided, loose braid, all the way down to the back, or all the way to the back of my hair. And for my veil, I had a see-through veil, and it was shorter, and it had sparkle shimmer at the bottom. So we were getting ready in the room, and it was so much fun with my friends, and we just did mimosas and little bride cups. And for their gift, I got them these bridesmaids robes, and so they're all lavender, so they matched our colors for our wedding. And it was so fun. We got pictures together in the robes, and we all got ready together. It literally went by so fast, so we were like rushing, trying to get ready as fast as we could, listening to music, just having a blast. And then, so we had my dad come in and kind of have his first look, if you will. And my dad's reaction just says it all. I'm going to show you a video here. And so it was really cool because in the hotel there was these sliding doors, and so my dad was behind the sliding doors and that divided the room, and everybody was out, and then he opened the doors and he saw me for the first time, and my dad just broke down in tears, and he said, "You're so beautiful," and everything. And he got me all emotional, and I was seriously like tearing up and about ready to cry, and I was like, "Dad, you can't make me cry, this is before the wedding." So it was so special to have that moment and to share that with him. I always thought of that moment since I was a little girl, so that was really special. And then we went over to the wedding. So I had 6 bridesmaids, and Joshua had 5 groomsmen for the wedding party. And so we headed over from the hotel, we got more photos, and then us girls went and waited in the Fountain Banquet Center at the reception so we could stay nice and cool before the wedding. It was very hot that day. Oh my goodness, it was like 90 degrees the day of our wedding, but I'm not going to complain because it didn't rain, and praise the Lord, that's every bride's fear. And it did not rain, and it was a gorgeous sunshiny day. My dad came and got me. We used his grandparents' car because it's a nicer vehicle, and so that's what he transported me from the reception to the ceremony. And I remember not being nervous. Like I said, I was in the car already with my dad, and then I stepped out of the car when it was time for the ceremony, and I got so nervous. I remember just being like, oh my gosh, all these eyes are looking at me. I don't like to be the center of attention, and so I got a little nervous when I walked down the aisle and everything. It was really special. So the song for me walking down the aisle was Turning Page, Sleeping at Last. It is a gorgeous song if you've never heard it. And my dad had always said, "I'm gonna walk you down the aisle someday," and he told me so many times when I was little, he's like, "I'm gonna walk you down that aisle someday." And so it was very emotional walking down the aisle finally with him and just having it be my moment. And I remember just smiling, biggest smile on my face, and looking up at Joshua, and he was really emotional too, and he started to cry a little bit, and it was so perfect and everything. Finally I got up to the altar, and my dad gave me to Joshua, and we both stood at the gazebo. And the other really special thing of the wedding is Pastor Zool married us, and that is the same person that married my parents, so 30 years ago. So this was really special to have him marry us as well. And so we got up there. It was such a nice ceremony. It was about 30 minutes. It was a shorter ceremony, and Joshua and I said our vows.
After her in love and honor, in all duty and service, in all faith and tenderness, to live with her and cherish her according to the ordinances of God, as long as you both shall live, in love and honor, in all duty and service, in all faith and tenderness, to live with him and cherish him according to the ordinance of God, as long as you both shall live.
Autumn, I never imagined that God would bring someone so beautiful, loving, funny, and caring into my life with such a strong love for Christ. Today I marry you, my best friend, the one I will live with, dream with, and love forever. I promise to support you, to honor you, to respect you, and to love you unconditionally. Autumn, on this day I pledge to be the husband you dreamed to marry when you were a child. It will be my continued goal to uncover all your dreams for the future and work towards making them a reality that we both share and enjoy. When I look into your eyes, I am reminded just how lucky of a man I am, and I look forward to the path that Christ has set forth for our future, keeping him at the center of our relationship.
My dad always told me when I was younger that someday I was going to meet this guy and he would be my everything. The one I would share my passions with, love deeply, and laugh with. The one who would always be there for me through thick and thin. The one who would put me first, but more importantly, put God first. The one that would value and listen to me, even when I have a ton to say, which is a lot. The one who would encourage me and be patient with me, even when I take forever to do my makeup. And the one that would respect me. Joshua, I can easily say that you are that man. You check off all the things on my list. I think back to when we went on our first date. I knew right away you were different. Right from the beginning, you were sweet and asked me questions that showed how much you genuinely cared about me. You paid close attention to what I had to say. I fell in love with your amazing heart. Never in my life have I met someone so caring that goes out of their way for me like you do. Joshua, what we have is so special. A love like ours is rare. Small things you do, like putting your hand on my back, walking into church, and providing me with words of encouragement when I need it, really stand out to me. I love how much you love your family. I love how we can talk for hours and never run out of things to say. And I love how we can be ourselves around each other and scream the 1975 in the car. Joshua, I promise to always honor you and respect you. I promise to be here for you through anything. I promise to stand by your side and push you to be the best you can be. I promise to keep God at the center of our marriage. I promise to always cook breakfast with you, even for dinner sometimes, because we both know how much we love eggs and avocado toast. I promise to listen to you and support you always, and I promise to love you forever. You are my best friend, and every day with you is a blessing. Pastor Zool said a few things, prayed over us, and then for our unity, Joshua and I actually did pouring of sands. So we had vases, and I had a white sand and he had a gray sand to kind of match the colors of our wedding. And on the glasses was a cross. We put this glitter cross and it was so nice. So we took a moment to do our sand ceremony together. That was special to kind of unite us. And then we came back and we finally did the kiss, the big kiss. And Pastor Zool pronounced us man and wife. And Josh and I just threw our hands up in the air, and I'll show a clip here if I can. And I remember walking down the stairs and just feeling the best, so alive, and the most special moment of my life. And so after that, we took some pictures with friends and family, and then we were so hot. So then we went over to the reception area. This was really cool because Joshua and I actually made a grand entrance. So they have this area that you can sneak in the back, the wedding party. So we snuck in the back. You go upstairs, and so we're upstairs waiting in this room, and then coming into the reception area, there's this staircase that we come down, so we had a grand entrance. And for the longest time, I did not know what song to play. I wanted something fun, upbeat, that like the whole wedding party could dance to, because again, we love to dance. And so my brother had the idea of doing Space Jam, and I was like, oh heck, why not? So we did Space Jam, and the wedding party came up with a dance, each couple as they came out at the top and were introduced, and there was so much energy, and we came down, we were dancing across the dance floor and headed to the head table, and it was awesome. And then we went straight into dinner, and Pastor Zool and my dad prayed over us, and we had the most amazing food. We had, I'm pretty sure, steak, and we had some type of pasta, lots of appetizers. The dinner was amazing. The caterers did an amazing job. Just the Fountains Banquet Center was who catered the food. After the dinner, Josh and I did the cake cutting, and I was nervous for this. I didn't want everybody looking at me, and I was scared. The way that I designed the cake, I also knew exactly how I wanted it. I had, and I will show you guys videos here. So I worked in a bakery when I was 16, and I saw this cake, and I knew ever since that's the one I wanted for my wedding. So I wanted it really simple, and I wanted tiered cake, so I think it was it was 4 tiers. And so it had these really simple white roses, and then in between it had just a simple layer, and then the white roses again. And our cake topper just said Mr. and Mrs., and it was sparkly, and so I loved it. And then Joshua and I actually saved our topper of our cake. This is a tradition that you do, and you save it and you freeze it for a year. And then so this year on our anniversary, in a few more days, we'll open that up and we'll eat it together, and hopefully it's still good. I don't know. But anyways, I was so pumped for the cake. I love cake. I believe we got chocolate with chocolate custard, and then we also got chocolate with raspberry, and then we got yellow cake with chocolate custard, and then we just got the white buttercream frosting. And so for the cake cutting, I was so nervous, and I was like, you know what, Josh, you better not smash that in my face. I'm gonna be so mad. I got all this makeup on, and I don't want it messed up. And I remember walking up, and his friends were like, smash it in her face, Josh, and everything, and I was glaring at them. Thankfully, I have a very sweet husband, and I know that he would never do anything like that to kill my vibe or hurt my feelings or just make me be so sad. And so he didn't smash it in my face. We both nicely fed it to each other, and it went good and everything. Anyways, after the cake cutting, we kind of started walking around and seeing everybody, and after that we had the dancing start. Josh and I had our first dance to Ed Sheeran Perfect. This has always been our song, and thank goodness my mom had her phone and took this adorable video that I'll have forever. And sadly I cannot put the music on the video, so I'm going to play some romantic music to go along with this video. So my dad and I had our first dance together, and it was to Bob Seger, Living Inside My Heart, and that's something we always played together growing up and everything. And then Joshua and his mom danced together and had their first dance, and then after that the floor kind of opened up, and then we started dancing. Oh my gosh, the DJ did such an amazing job and played all the perfect songs. We had all the good ones to dance to, like the Cupid Shuffle, Cha-Cha Slide, just all the really fun dance songs. And yeah, everybody was just having an amazing time, and going crazy on the dance floor. And then it came to the point in the night where it was time to toss my bouquet, so I got on the dance floor, and the DJ told me to fake them once, so I faked the throw and then I threw it. And man, my softball arm came out from when I was younger because I threw that thing back there. And then we did the whole garter thing. So this is when I sit down on a chair and Josh takes the garter off my thigh. So he so played into this. Like, he was dancing and getting low and like crawling on the floor, and then he threw my dress up and stuck his head underneath, and he was all out, so into this. And the DJ seriously played the song Pony, and I was so shocked. I was like, wow, I did not know you were gonna play that. But it was so funny. And so that was awesome. He got the garter. When he was getting the garter, it actually got caught on my shoe, and I had to help him get it off. So he got it off. That was really fun. And then he threw it and did the whole thing where his friends caught it. So that was really fun. And then the rest of the night, we just had a blast dancing and talking with friends, taking pictures at the photo booth. Then towards the end of the night, we actually had pizza. So that was one of the things that our caterers did. They did kind of like a midnight snack thing. So we literally had pizza at our wedding, and it was awesome because that's my husband's favorite. Nobody was expecting it. We had some pizza, danced a little bit more. Then at the end of the night, we had sparklers that we handed out to everybody, and it was like one of those picture perfect moments. And so we ran out and we ran in between the sparklers. Everybody was holding them out and cheering, and literally it was just the most perfect day. I couldn't have asked for anything more. It will forever be my favorite day. I got to marry my best friend and the love of my life. I haven't told you guys too much about Josh, but Joshua is the sweetest man that I have ever met in my life. He is so thoughtful. He goes out of his way to do things for me that he doesn't even have to. He makes me feel special and loved in so many ways, and I have never met someone with such an amazing heart and heart for the Lord, and just I knew I was going to marry him because, like I said, he's my best friend. And the other thing I really liked about Joshua is that he is soft-spoken, and also he hates conflict. That's another thing that is really amazing because I know a lot of couples can get mad and yell at each other, and one of the things that I'm the proudest and the happiest in our relationship, and still to this day a year later, is that he has never yelled at me in an argument. And anytime we have a conflict or anything, not like there's conflict all the time, but if there's anything, a disagreement, we come together and we hold our hands and we talk about it and we listen to each other. And for you couples out there, or newly married couples, I think that is the most important thing, is communication. And I love my man, I love my husband so much, and that's one of the things in our relationship that I think is the most important and that I love. And so I just want to say thank you so much to all my friends and my family that have helped us throughout the wedding and throughout this crazy journey during COVID-19 and the pandemic. I want to thank my maid of honor, Haley, for going out of her way and writing the most awesome speech. She was so nervous, but she killed it and was the best maid of honor. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone that I shared this memory with. I'll never forget it. And that is kind of Joshua and I's engagement and wedding stories. So I hope you guys loved watching and listening, and this was so special to share. I couldn't wait to tell you guys more because I know a lot of people were very confused when they heard I got married twice, so now you kind of understand why. I love you guys so much, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Here is my baby. And so if you guys didn't know, Joshua and I got Allie like a week after we got married. We made a huge decision and committed to a dog. So this is our baby. A year later, we still have our little princess. But anyways, Allie and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!